from my understanding and talking to some of the curators, they were really looking for narrative videos and something with a very high caliber of filmmaking as well. And so not getting in was a huge motivation for me to be like, okay, we gotta make something narrative. We gotta up my skills as a filmmaker from every single aspect.
Welcome to Metaverse Degen. I'm Lion, and no Raptor today. He's currently working, but we are joined again by a wonderfully esteemed guest.
Hey, I'm StarHeart.
Oh, thank you so very much for joining us again, StarHeart. It's been, what, almost a year now, I think?
Has it really been that long? Damn.
Yeah, it's like October of last year,
crazy.
I think it was. It's been a year. I remember back when we first started
Wow.
talking, you were just recently announcing StarHeart as an idol, I think.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So last year I had just started working on like building up my performing chops again in VR. So yeah, it's been quite the journey.
I'm sure.
In the last year. Wow.
Yeah. Since we last talked, you have a Raindance Award. You've made lots of music and a music video. What have you been up to since then, and how has the journey been what you thought it would be?
Where do I start? So it's been incredible. It's been so rewarding to get to perform at all these different venues, and I remember last year, I was nervous about doing a 15-minute set of music. I'm like, do I really have 3 songs that show my best foot forward? And now I'm fine doing like a full hour set. And I've been writing more and more originals, which I'm slow to release, I know, but I want to polish them and make, with the originals, I have such an opportunity to tell a story just beyond the music itself. I love making music videos. That's one of my favorite things, like the storytelling and the music aspect coming together. It's so fun.
Oh, wow. So what were some of the first projects you worked on after we talked last, may I ask?
October. So I probably put out my Halloween video around that time, which at that time I had just released only 2 StarHeart videos before that. That was the Feeling Good video and the debut, which was my song Elsewhere. And then the Halloween video was this really cool experiment to get to try to work on more of a narrative approach to making videos. So, specifically, I made this video about StarHeart confronting her shadow in this like video game sort of esque story. And it was also a really fun tech experiment for me to try out different facial expressions. This avatar has some cool facial expressions. Like I can go, oh, shocked. Or I can go, no. But I can blend between them because I have it on a puppet. Like it's not dependent on my hands like a lot of facial expressions are. I don't have a face tracking headset, but in some ways it's kind of nice to have a very purposeful set animation for what your expressions are. So yeah, I really like this approach, and I'm sure I'll find a cool combination of face tracking and puppeteering as I develop, or once I can get a face tracking headset and set up my avatar for that. But yeah, so the Halloween one was a cool experiment for doing more facial animation stuff in the video to practice like how much emotion can I get out. Woo, my arm, no. What the heck? Okay, ignore that. I'll turn off the elbow tracker. But yes, so then after Halloween, I did, what was the next one? I believe making music for a VR game, unless I released, yeah, I think, yeah, that sounds like the next one. So my friend Greg asked me to be one of the composers on this very experimental VR game that released on Steam last, want to say February or March. I gotta remember. And so that was super cool to get to make a piece of instrumental music that was super interactive. So I walked through the big session on with live as StarHeart through the through the Logic session that I built, and then after finishing that, I went straight into making I Still Love You, which took 3 or 4 solid months of work. Building this world that we're in. I learned to build worlds and light it, and I wrote the script and found a pianist named Lodi to play that. I'm an okay pianist. I love playing piano and I love writing on piano. But Lodi and like actual pianists really can add something really special to and it came out just beautifully. So I'm so excited about how that came out, and it got into Raindance and I ended up winning, which is crazy, and I did not expect that. I of course I wanted to, but it's still unexpected when it happens.
Well, let's dig into the meat and the potatoes of it first before I start asking stuff about our early works.
Sure.
When I have watched your music video, I Still Love You, and it was very well done. Did you have any inspirations for the story or the style of which you told within the music video? Was there any specific story you're trying to tell there?
Yes. So the idea behind the original story, since this is a song called I Still Love You, but it's this longing to one day see this person again, that and wondering if it would be the same if we ever saw each other again, and sort of that question. But I wanted to flip it on its head and show the parting, and I had this idea in my head. I'm like, what would it be like if, because we often see the story of the spy who has their like fake family in another country, and no one really knows, and then one day they just disappear because the assignment's over, or they go home or they go on another assignment, and so they leave this fake relationship. And what would that be like on the other side? So I've had this idea for the crystal heart for a little while, as the StarHeart, as this little MacGuffin, as like a reoccurring sort of idea. And I ended up switching it from like the spy idea to this jewel thief idea, because stealing her heart just felt very poetic, and a jewel thief is a classic trope of film noir. So I really also, so it came out of that sort of creative story idea of this jewel thief who gets close to StarHeart in order to steal the gem, but also the question is, did she actually develop feelings for her, or was it all fake? And that's the sort of question. Did you, or in the lyrics, did you love me when you left into the night? And so that was the creative side, and then the technical side was, I love lighting. And like, if you ever visit my world, it's called the Tillius Museum film set, and that you can see right now. And I really, really love lighting. And the thing about noir lighting is it's super high contrast. And I feel like people in the filmmaker community, both IRL and VR, are really focused on not low contrast exactly, but very high dynamic range sort of stuff, where you get just a lot of detail in the shadows and the highlights. And so to me, that can come across as a little flat, or a little bit easier to get away with not lighting it very purposefully. Of course, this is a very stylized type of lighting, but I'm like, how do I do that in VR? And so that set me on this whole journey to build my own worlds. I combined the exterior and the interior museum into this one world for the public version. But yeah, so I learned how to bake textures, and so a lot of the limitations of low dynamic range. Also, it's 4:3 aspect ratio. Everyone loves like super anamorphic widescreen stuff, but I thought, how cool would it be to have like almost that square old school TV ratio, which offers some really cool possibilities, because that's the old like if film stock is 4:3, people don't realize that most films are shot, if they're filmed on film, are shot on a 4:3 square, but using the lenses, they can squeeze it or they can decompress it in a really cool way, to get that super wide screen, which is how it widescreen normally works. But for a TV, everyone's TV was a 4:3 aspect ratio. I loved watching the old Twilight Zone episodes. I just thought they had this really interesting style, and the way that they it needed to be produced relatively quickly because it was a weekly show, and so they didn't have time for setting up a dolly every single shot to motivate these things. So you just had to make a tripod shot look really great. And you can do that with great composition and great lighting, and then all you're doing is just moving around the camera to capture the different shots, which I also enabled me to film this myself and act at the same time, which is cool because I could just put the VR camera in place. I would make this gigantic monitor with an overlay window looking at OBS, and I could start and stop it, and I could act and puppeteer my face and stuff during filming at the same time as making sure I'm in frame. Do I look good? Does the lighting look good? All that good stuff.
Oh, wow. So what made you want to choose that specific kind of look with like the old noir 4:3 ratio black and white kind of feel for the music video? What made you want to choose that as like a style?
I felt it fit perfectly with this very traditional jazz tune that I wrote. I got real upright bass player, real drummer, real pianist. I didn't mess with the MIDI almost at all. I comped a couple takes together of the piano to get a couple of the like little inserts from different takes, because there's some gorgeous runs and stuff and different stuff like that. But yeah, so it was very intentional as a old school jazz piece, like picturing. And originally I was like, ooh, is StarHeart gonna be up on this little stage, the smoky jazz club with like people playing the bass and drums and keyboard and stuff, and she's up there at the mic with this red dress. Is that gonna be the vibe? But I came up with something more narrative, which in that era, with the jazz and noir go hand in hand super, super well. So it just aesthetically felt very cohesive.
Well, after seeing it myself, and you, the audience, should as well, mind you, pause this, go to StarHeart's YouTube channel, which is in the description, and go watch it, then come back. And then everything she said will make sense. Either way, back to you. Did you expect the whole process to be how it was? Because we're building your own world, purpose, narrative, and style. Is that kind of something expected going into this whole project?
I wanted to. I've wanted to build my own world for a long time. But I think why this was the project that I did it for was specifically realizing the lighting limitation and how much flexibility I would have if I did it myself. But also, when I was looking at my script, I'm like, I didn't write this script in mind with pre-existing VRchat worlds to film in. I was writing it from my imagination. And there's no museum like this in VRchat as a world yet. And so I'm like, well, I don't want to compromise on what my vision was. I want to build it myself and show people exactly what was in my imagination. So that's why I ended up doing it.
Okay. So may I ask another question as well? Being in the world myself, and after you kind of walked
Yeah.
us through, why did you have everything separated in like a set style versus have the whole world be connected as if it's the actual museum?
Well, I could have put them together, but when I tried to combine the interior and exterior, there wasn't actually like the dimensions of the interior don't quite line up with the dimensions of the exterior. So I'm like, I want the flow. Like I built the interior as a film set, like because I wanted the that specific flow and not to be limited by the set architecture of the exterior. Because I did like, okay, I'm gonna be very transparent. I did not scratch builds 99% of the models here. Like that, I'm not. I lit it and I assembled it and I retextured things, but yeah, this was a bunch of prefabs that I basically put together to build this, and it feels like Lego. It's so fun, but it's Lego that can be anything. You know, learning how reflection probes work and getting all these metals to look right, and yeah, so it's mainly an architecture thing. I could have tweaked the exterior to fit the interior, but I just needed the it was good enough, I think, for the purpose. Plus, I like film sets; they're cool.
Okay. Well,
and it's fun to show people that.
It told me to put you on the spot as, why don't you do these things? I'm just kind of curious. It looks nice. Just kind of curious as to why the choice.
Yeah.
That's all. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to make it come off as anyway. I'm sorry.
No. Not at all.
So, with that said, how long did it take you to learn to make worlds, especially the one we're in now?
That was the majority of the production time. Like I filmed a test video in some other worlds, and like 1 to 2 shots in the exterior world, but that was like my test video, which is on the Raindance website as the teaser for the video. That one, I didn't understand how light baking worked, so the shadows are really crazy, and my light map UVs are all messed up, and it worked well enough for that shot, but I wanted it to actually look correct, so I had to go back and learn how to do that. So gosh, I think that was the end of March when I finished that test video. April, May, June, yeah. So it was like a solid 3 months of testing and rebuilding and figuring out all the little details. Also with the avatar lighting as well. I think you can see this light. Oh, you know what? I changed it for the public world. There was a real-time light here in the filming version, which you'd get these cool real-time shadows. We could go to another location. Maybe later if you want to see that. But yeah, figuring out like this cool high contrast lighting on the avatar shader as well.
Oh, so did you expect the process when going into the project to be what it was, or did you kind of expect the journey you went through?
I didn't expect it to take that long, but I did expect it to be challenging. So, yeah, some of both.
Okay. So, another random question for me that I would like to know, from when you and I first met to the end of Raindance, do you enjoy the journey you went on between now and then, and what was your experience in Raindance like?
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. I'm like looking back at the last year is so incredible. I'm so happy with the progress I've made as a performer and a filmmaker, a storyteller, and just not being as intimidated to take on more ambitious projects and stuff. Raindance was an incredible experience as well. Meeting people that were like really, really motivated. Like I've visited some incredible worlds, but it's sometimes hard to meet people that actually make this stuff or make these music experiences or these dance experiences or shaders or like all these different components that people are just incredible at. And yeah, so meeting some of the people behind some of these experiences was so inspiring, like unbelievably inspiring, and it's just pushed me so much more to that. Like I cannot wait to you know, I don't know. I love working really, really hard, and so it's motivating to see people making stuff that blows me away.
Well, your hard work most definitely shows in in the projects you've been releasing, from the Halloween music video released, and even I Still Love You. You could see the love and dedication you put into it. So, compared to when I first met you to now, it's been fantastic to watch your journey unfold, to be honest.
Yeah, awesome.
Hmm.
And next stop is my Twitch debut.
Oh.
So that's hopefully gonna be happening in the next month, and I things take longer than you hope they do. Hopefully not a full 2 months. I'm gonna work really, really hard to get it within the month. But I'm not announcing the date until I have a few finished things. I got the new avatar, like update with a new outfit. I've got all these cool graphics. I'm building a world that I'm gonna stream from as well, where I'm gonna play music live for people and chat about the VR music world and where I hope that it goes, and also just pursue my dream to be a professional virtual singer. So that's the end goal. That's what I hope people join me on my goofy streams that are much less polished sort of vibe, more casual, more relaxed than like the music videos are. I'm gonna spend 4 months making this like 3-minute thing. Hopefully the streams can be, oh, here, I have a new song. I want to play it for you to see get your impression, or let's write a song together on stream, or let's go tour worlds, or let's build the world for my next music video live on stream. Things like that. I think that'd be super fun.
Okay. So, oh, camera. Yep. So, what made you want to choose to have that be the next stop of your journey with streaming and all of that? Why now?
So, I am bad at releasing regular content. Because I have a huge perfectionism issue. Where like I want everything to be perfect, and I thought streaming would be the perfect opportunity for me to confront that perfectionism and find a way for people to connect, hopefully with my personality as well as my music. Like a lot of my little group here in Vrchat has been growing to connect with me and see my live performances, but not everyone is able to come to these concerts, or even the ability to get into VR. So I thought it would be a great way to connect with people as well on a 2D screen, like stream format. We'll see if it goes well. I might not end up connecting with live streaming, but I have some really fun ideas, so I'm gonna give it a shot. We'll see how it goes.
Well, the best way to get used to things and doing things is just starting. The best first step to every journey is the first step to a long journey is the first step. There we go. I'm good with words.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
with this, I remember it was a couple weeks ago when you did that live show that you did. Is that part of VR and your idol journey that you're looking to go on? Was that something you enjoyed and expected to be a part of your VR singer journey? Oop.
camera.
Cameras most definitely wants to work. There we go. Well, yeah. Sorry about that.
You're all good. Yes, I've like last fall I think after we talked, I was doing like up to 3 concerts a week,
Oh wow.
which was really, really fun. I just kept getting asked to play at all these different places, and I was doing pop-ups. I want to start doing pop-ups again. I love doing pop-ups.
Mm.
And yeah, so the concert a few weeks ago, did you go to the one with Sheena?
I
And
I think so. I think that was the one I went to, the one where you're on
it
the
was like a
stage in the middle of a lake
nighttime.
kind of thing.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad you made it to that one. That's that's one of my favorite performances of like this whole year. I loved that one so much. So yeah, I love performing. I love being on stage. I love getting to connect with people directly like that. Like if you put out a music video, it's hard to see people's real-time reactions, even in like a theater setting, because everyone's looking at the screen. You know, it's like I can't just like sit there in front of the screen watching everybody's faces. Like that's weird. Oh,
Fair.
but like a performance, you are face to face with your audience. You are talking directly to them in real time, and you can get a vibe of like, oh, is this audience kind of needing something more relaxed, or do we need to pick up the energy? And so I can switch songs based on what the real energy of the moment is, and I love that.
Well, the whole show was amazing, by the way, for at that specific concert, at least the one I went to. What was your first couple like when from like last year when you first talked, when you started getting into doing live shows? What were they like? How did you feel doing them?
Oh my gosh, so I was so nervous last year. My first formal like big show was Naku, who's another VR performer. He invited me to be one of the guest performers when he got to do his Naku experience at FIA's virtual reality show. And so being one of these guest performers was like my first big exposure to, and it was also the same week that I debuted StarHeart. It was my first exposure of showing StarHeart to the world, and but also like I didn't really know anybody in the live performance community here in Vrchat yet. I had only just done pop-ups in like public worlds or for my friends and just playing piano singing for people. So it was Naku who saw my video for Unaware, who actually asked me to perform there. And so I just remember that was it I just think I just did 2 songs, and I was so nervous, and I hadn't performed in years, like in that sort of setting with that pressure. And looking back, I'm like, oh, I would approach that so differently now, but I think I still was like that. Yeah, it's so fun looking back at how much things have changed, but also that my heart's been in the same place ever since then.
Okay. What, since you were doing, as you said, 3 a week every week, or something like that, what drives you to do
Yeah.
that many? 'Cause that seems like a lot of live shows to do.
I dialed it back. I don't do 3 a week anymore. Mainly, I'm always paranoid that people are gonna get sick of me if I perform too much. So I feel bad. Like sometimes I won't. I haven't always told people in my VRChat group or my Discord that I'm doing a performance with like a new community that I've never performed in, because I don't want people to get sick of me and like the same songs that I keep performing. It's yeah, three performances a week was an incredible experience to get my performing chops up, because I went from like performing 2 songs was so nerve-wracking to I'm happy to play like 2 hours at a pop-up, just like people suggesting stuff and me riffing off that. And like my piano has definitely gotten a lot stronger, my voice has gotten a lot stronger, where I can actually sustain, a long performance vocally without tiring or Yeah. So I loved that aspect, and I'm not against going back to that schedule if I have um like if yeah, if the situation is right for it. But yeah, I'm happy to find a better balance of working on videos, working on my creative um expression stuff like building more worlds or doing cool avatars and as well as doing the live performance stuff. Like just a week ago, I launched my zine, which is a fun new creative thing that I've tried to do. So my VTuber mom, which if you're not in the VTuber world, that just means the people who helped create your design. That could be your 3D modeler, that could be your designer, your the model rigger, people that put these all, put it together. So I did all my 3D stuff, but my friend M, who goes by Nebufae on Twitter and Instagram, she helped me design StarHeart. She illustrated my profile picture, and then so we had all these amazing sketches from the creation of StarHeart, and also the second portrait. And then I wanted to also talk about the process of me figuring out how to bring the 2D version of her designs into 3D. And so I put together this little mini magazine, this little mini art book that I ended up printing. You could get a digital or printed version of it, and of just me like gushing about how cool it is that if me as a performer, I can have this body be an extension of my music, not just like a part of, like, you don't get to choose what you look IRL. So but you can choose how you express yourself with your body and your clothes and all that stuff here in the virtual world. So I was really excited by, piecing all the thoughts together, not just posting a couple sketches on Twitter and watching them disappear into the ether as only like 5-10 people saw it or whatever. But yeah, so that's another creative thing that I got to explore recently.
Well, the zine looked amazing, by the way. And my question for you is, what made you want
You
to
saw
start
it.
that to begin
Awesome.
with? Yeah, of course I saw it. Why? It looked amazing. What made you want to start that as a venture, an extension of you, and to explain that?
Which part? Like the zine or StarHeart in general?
The zine, like that
The
whole.
zine. Yeah. I love art books. I think art books are the coolest. Like I collect them. They're easier to store than art prints. I love prints as well, but I don't have the wall space for a bunch of prints. Art books, you can, flip through and read these artists' thoughts, and I love seeing the process, the sketches, the storyboards, the turnaround sheets, the start to finish creative process of people compiled into this nice little package. And so I wanted to make my own. That's where it came out of it.
Oh. So I have another question kind of related to Raindance and you. What was the process of getting into Raindance like, and your experience going through and even winning the award? Did you enjoy the journey? What was it like?
Oh my gosh, Raindance is so cool. I went the previous year, last year's as well. I applied to get a music video spot with my Feeling Good video, but I didn't get in. And I think, from my understanding and talking to some of the curators, they were really looking for narrative videos and something with a very high caliber of filmmaking as well. And so not getting in was a huge motivation for me to be like, okay, we gotta make something narrative. We gotta up my skills as a filmmaker from every single aspect: audio, music, acting, storytelling, lighting, all of it. And it needs to be way better because the entries that did get in were gorgeous. And so that was, but it, like going to some of those screenings last year was so inspiring and like a good motivator to say yes, this is something I want to get into. And so actually meeting the people that run the festival in the virtual side of the festival and hearing just sort of what they're looking for and their caliber was really helpful for figuring out if I even had a shot or not. So that's why one of the reasons I was motivated to work so hard on making it as good as I could. I really wanted to be a part of the festival. I thought it was such a cool opportunity to get to talk about my work and have a film screening and have a Q&A and get to show this on the big screen with an audience of people who actually would care. So plus it's just like I love film in general. I haven't always loved more recent movies. I have very strong opinions on the way film is sort of gone, but I do have an incredible love of cinema. So yeah.
Okay.
And winning was crazy. Yeah.
I'm sure it was. What was it like?
I was not expecting, because like I didn't even get in last year, and then to win, like I really had my expectations set low because I didn't want to be disappointed. I wanted to just enjoy whatever happened, and I would have. Like I was up against some crazy competition. Ariel Emerald produced this incredible music video with like 7 other cinematographers, and they did this whole space battle scene, and oh my god. And there's another VTuber who produced this like just beautiful story about coming to terms with her past, and then it's so fun to get to meet the crew on all these different videos. And yeah, the last music video, I didn't get to meet the people behind it. They were from Japan, and our screenings were on different days, and so we never ended up connecting. But gorgeous cinematography, incredible lighting and shading, and all that stuff. So yeah.
Well, I would say congratulations on winning. You most definitely deserved it, watching your music video and seeing how it is. Although everyone else who played, especially TFM Johnny's, looked fantastic and amazing, by the way. But
yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, with that in mind, did you expect the journey you've been on the last year since when you debuted to be what you went on? Between the shows, the music videos, Raindance, did you expect to be where you are today when you debuted? Hello, we're here to interrupt the most interesting thing being said in our current video to ask you a favor, which is, would you mind joining us on any of the socials we have, such as Discord? We're hanging out all the time playing video games, so you can catch us there very frequently. We have I run Twitter for us, which is LionTurtle21 on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. It'll always be Twitter. But either way, there's that. We also have a Patreon, which we actually have a whole other show for our Patreon members, which are Aliquum and the newest addition to the bunch, Future Oracle,
Niche, and Forbidden Zero, good friends of ours.
Yeah, thank you very much, you guys, for joining. It means a whole lot that you're there. And hope to see you there as well. We have a whole other show. There are some free ones we have released as well for the audio for you to listen to and to see what it's like. It's like a whole other show as a thank you. With that said, please enjoy the rest of your podcast on YouTube.
I had hoped that wherever, because I didn't actually have a set idea in my head of what this would look like. I was hoping to get on a more regular video release schedule, which didn't end up happening. But I never pictured that I would be in a VR film festival and meeting all these people. I had hoped that I could connect with all these cool people, but I didn't picture it in this exact way. So I'm just elated that looking back at how it's all gone, and also knowing whatever happens this next year, I equally can't plan for. I have goals that I'm going to work towards, but I can't actually plan of like what things are gonna look like in a year. I just hope that things will continue. That more people, I'll be able to connect with more people with my music. Actually, getting all my releases on Spotify and having more formal, more regular releases. Hopefully Twitch also will keep me on task for creating content with people, writing new songs. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm just excited about everything that I'm doing.
It is very exciting. I don't blame you for being excited between becoming a VTuber and streaming, Raindance, music videos, everything. I don't blame you for being excited one bit. So,
Yeah.
over the last year, what have been some favorite moments of yours over the last year, as well as what have been some things you've learned from your journey?
Favorite moments. I did a Christmas pop-up last year that's still, I think, one of my favorite memories. I expected 10 people to show up. I told people about it like 2 days before I did it. This was at this little cabin it was like all cozy inside, all snowy blizzardy outside. I gotta look up what world it is. It's super cute. And then people just kept pouring in, and more people joined, and there's like 60, 70 people for this little Christmas pop-up. And I was just playing Christmas tunes, like Jingle Bells, or Santa's Coming to Town, or some Charlie Brown stuff to get more like the jazzy Christmas stuff in there. And it just felt so cozy that everyone was kind of sharing in. You don't have to celebrate. I don't even celebrate Christmas religiously, but I liked that in VR you can have sort of a community event that could not just be about my music. Like it was my music, but it was me performing, but it was also just okay, so VR has been this home that I never expected it to be. I always thought the technology and the possibilities were really cool when I first started getting into this like 2.5 years ago. And I really wanted to be a part of it and seeing what people are doing, but I never expected this to become my home, and it really has. And so there's just something so beautiful about celebrating that home with a found family of close friends and people who wanted to come listen to some tunes. And that's kind of been the spirit of once I started performing in VRchat, is to create cozy, comfy environments for people to escape and enjoy music together. And yeah, I love cozy performances, like tiny desk concerts, or people's just little, like everyone's sitting on blankets on the ground or pillows, and I love that vibe.
I have a question. I may seem a little stupid by asking, but what's a tiny desk concert?
No. Oh, okay. So NPR, the radio station, runs something called the Tiny Desk series, where they literally just host massive artists like Billie Eilish and people like that, in these little acoustic sessions in their like radio station office. So they like clear out someone's desk, and then everyone stands around or sits around in the office, and they just do these really intimate performances. I loved that casual vibe in this like random location. It's not like this super formal performance, right? It's like, oh, this is just, it changes the atmosphere completely, and I loved that aspect. So that's the sort of approach I wanted to take with my my own performances, both in VR and also planning for doing that on Twitch. Because Twitch, you can stream to more than 80 people. Well, that's ambitious. Maybe one day. But potentially more than 80 people. Like in VRChat, 80 is the cap. You can do multi-instances, which is cool, but you can't look at more than those 80 people in the instance, right? Or 79, not counting me. But on Twitch, you can create that comfy environment and that intimate where the camera can be right here and close by to my face. You don't have to have this like stadium-sized venue where you just see this little dot on stage performing. But like we can be right here face to face and create that cozy environment, but also potentially reach a lot more people.
So how many cozy, intimate shows have you done here in VRChat? Like the Tiny Desk kind of style show.
Ooh. Well, so the concert you just went to a couple weeks ago with Sheena, who's a great jazz singer, and her pianist. I'm forgetting their name. Osuke, I think. Okay, yeah, but the two of them are amazing. I tagged them both in my post on Twitter. I would say that kind of is in the middle. So like everyone is sitting on the lawn of this really pretty cozy world. But it was a little bit of a bigger show in terms of, there is a separation of the stage and the audience. It wasn't quite as intimate as like just living room pop-up sort of thing. But I'm trying to think. I've done all the pop-ups I've done have tried to be that very intimate thing. But a lot of the shows that I get asked to play are more of a traditional stage style show.
Okay.
So, yeah, I want to do more.
All right. So what kinds of things have you learned from your journey, and what kind of people inspired you during the time you've been performing and debuted?
Wait, repeat that again. Sorry.
What kinds of things have you learned on your journey so far since you debuted, and what kind of people have inspired or helped you along the journey as well?
I don't even know how to sum up the things that I've learned. It's a billion things, from just having the confidence or the knowledge about how to manage multiple performances in one day that I never ever thought I would attempt, to just like some technical things like how to UV map worlds and but then like beyond all that, I would say those are just kind of not super interesting things. Like there's things you learn by doing, right? But are more exciting, I think, are the people that inspire me. And that's these people that are doing all the things that I want to do, like building gorgeous worlds, but it only takes them a week or two. And they have all this cool reactive lighting, and it's got the story, and it's got like, how did you do that? Or people that, like, Naku is so inspiring that he can keep up so many performances a week. I think he does like 5+ performances a week, which is just incredible. That's inspiring to build up more endurance, really, to be able to do that, and also build community stuff. And but then, like, on a professional level as well, Suisse is a vsinger, probably the most famous vsinger ever. I'm trying to think if there's someone more well known. Probably not. She's a Japanese VTuber who's one of the best singers in the industry, and I love her drive. I love her motivation and her story of how she was independent for years before being hired by Hololive to be one of their performers, and once they started the music sort of section of their thing. But she made her own model, and she worked for years making music herself, and so I just see that drive and that resilience and that motivation, and that gives me so much drive to pursue my own dream of following a similar path, not the same path, obviously, but we're very different personalities. And I want to direct more videos and tell more narrative stuff about StarHeart, and to eventually make a VR anime with StarHeart. You know, practicing with these. I have a whole vision for it, but one step at a time.
Okay.
Yeah, but so many goals.
Well, as I go, since I have a strange feeling you'll complete this anime starring StarHeart, what kinds of things would you envision it to look like or include as a means to look back on later? What would you want it to look like?
Yes. Oh, this is fun. Okay. If I look back at this, right now the vision is StarHeart as a magical girl anime, where StarHeart was born of a star. She's an astral demon, or like I guess I'm an astral demon, and so she's come from wandering the stars for many years, looking for a home, but the stars, however beautiful and ethereal and amazing they are, it's also lonely. Space is full of emptiness. And so finding this rich, vibrant, beautiful virtual world to become her home was this unexpected, beautiful thing. And I kind of want to mirror image through metaphors, telling the story of my own journey of discovering myself and discovering this home, and discovering the people who became my friends and my collaborators, and telling elements of their stories as well. So I love this duality of StarHeart being this, having this past as this wandering demon, but also finding this cozy, you know, sort of slice of life, perhaps. Magical. I have some ideas for the magical girl transformation, where she would have her like regular, everyday, casual form, and then she could transform into her celestial, astral form. So yeah.
Okay. And under the same vein of looking back at for later, what will you imagine you'll have accomplished next year at this time? What would you kind of hope yourself in the future does?
Oh my gosh. Well, I hope by this time I'm working on a full album with people that I respect and love their work. I hope that my performances have gotten even better, in terms of more originals and maybe outfit changes during the performance, and being able to embrace both the big stage and the small intimate venue. And then for Twitch, I hope that actually goes well and people like it, and I hope that people can come join and see me in person in VR as well. Like, that'd be cool to have some crossover between the 2D and the 3D world.
Well, I'm sure people like anything that you put out or produce. I was talking with another friend of mine,
Hopefully.
and he got some pretty good advice from someone he had a chat with, which is build what you enjoy and the people will come. So if you wish to do the Twitch or any of your projects, just build it, and the people who would enjoy it will arrive. And you built some great stuff, by the way.
That was very kind of you to say. Thank you.
No problem. Well, I hope that next year you do accomplish all those things. Based on the drive I've seen you have, I would no doubt you would have done all of that by this time next year, guaranteed.
That's the hope.
Okay.
So excited.
Alrighty. So before we kind of start wrapping things up, I'd like to ask you some more questions as well, which is, what would you tell yourself a year ago when you debuted?
be patient. Good, solid work that means something takes a long time to make, and be patient. Because it's easy to have big ambitions, but to do it right, it takes a long time. That's what I would say.
Okay. Did you, with the patience, how long did that take you to learn from when you first kind of want to jump in and do all the things and see all the things and be the person? How long did it take for that patience for you to learn?
I think it's a work in progress. It's also telling myself current day, not just a year ago. But it's also me recognizing, looking back at like a year ago and some of my goals, I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna have like this massive, like I thought, and I was an idiot, I thought I was gonna be able to do weekly videos on YouTube. I was just ridiculous, because that's not how my workflow works. Like if you make a specific kind of content that works for that, that's awesome. That's sick. To have regular content. My music videos keep getting more ambitious the more I do them, and so a week between them is not realistic. It's just not possible. So maybe if I built up a team of people, I could make them more regularly, like maybe once every 3 weeks or once a month. I would put out like a narrative video, but I still need to record the music. I still need a song that I feel is worth making a thing to, and I feel like stories need to marinate in my head to tell something that's worth watching. So yeah, I don't know. It's there's no right way to do it. And if you are just like a content machine, that sounds super bad. I don't mean it in a bad way. I mean it in like you just make cool stuff all the time. You're just like boo boo boo, you're posting stuff, and you're like people on TikTok that are posting daily things. People like that are just like, what the heck? I'm jealous. I wish I could make stuff faster, but yeah, it takes me a long time. And so just like looking back at the last year, patience, but also like I need to figure out how to actually make my workflow a little bit smoother, so it doesn't, so it's people aren't waiting so long between videos.
Fair enough. So what kind of equipment do you use to make your music videos as well? For example, I Love You. What kind of things did you, or I Still Love You, did you use making that?
Okay, so I have my trackers. So I've got feet trackers, got my waist tracker, got my chest tracker, elbow trackers, hands and headset, obviously. And then I've got excess overlay, which is the overlay tool I use to make a sizable desktop window to show OBS, so I can monitor what the final video looks like. I've got the motion smoother, what's it called? Oops, I have my AFK, hang on. Turn that off. My motion smoother called OpenVR Smooth Tracking, and that helps massively with making it look a lot closer to cleaned up motion capture. I'll do take after take if like getting the whine, like walking, there's one shot in the film where I just keep, like I'm just carrying over the wine, and then I do a spin when I'm like, where did Clara go? I did probably like 15, 20 takes of that, just because my chest tracker kept glitching. I should have restarted the computer, because that often fixes my tracker glitches. But yeah, things like that. It's just very frustrating. But yeah, so the trackers, I got a Valve Index. So I've got 4 base stations for better tracking, and then when I walk on the sand, I actually walked on like this mattress topper, so my feet would kind of sink into the sand rather than on my hard floor, so I could create a different surface for the motion capture. I've got a nice graphics card that helps where I can turn up the anti-aliasing on VRC lens for also nice background blur, even though I Still Love You was shot pretty closed down aperture wise, so you got a lot of detail in the background as well as the foreground, but there's still a couple shots in there with nice background blur. It was good to have. And then a 4K monitor that can capture, so I can capture the stream at 4K, which definitely improves image quality. I edit in DaVinci Resolve. I love DaVinci. I switched over from Premiere like a year and a half ago, and so all my VR videos have been on DaVinci. And it's so fun to edit on. I love editing. It's so much fun.
I do have another question, because you mentioning DaVinci Resolve and editing harked me back to some conversations I had with some filmographers before, like Congalua with Studio Penrose. When making your music video, what were some of the specific shots you chose, like camera angles or lighting? What were some of those things you chose specifically for a narrative, may I ask?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Like, I'm no filmographer, so I'm sorry if I'm butchering the question in general.
No.
But when choosing your frames and shots for the music video, were there any specific angles, lighting, or specific ways you structured the scene for the specific shot you were making? Were there any things you chose specifically?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yes. There you go.
Got your pins. There we go. Yes, there's so much intentionality. Like every single shot I thought through quite extensively. So it's kind of a joy to have the final video come out 99% how I pictured it in my head when I was writing the script. And of course, some you can't picture exactly what it'll look like, but so I had ideas of doing brighter scenes, darker scenes. Film noir is just really good at creating those dark, high contrast scenes with the bright light on one side and the darkness, and so the limitation of not having background blur, because I wanted people to actually see my cool sets that I put together, and that's also part of the style. Lenses back in the days of film noir just weren't good enough to have background blur. They weren't fast enough. You could find lenses that were fast enough, but people lit scenes very, very brightly. So the lenses just naturally, you would see all the background stuff. So in order to create that separation, instead of using blur, you can use light. And being able to control that very directly with, I think there's over 40 lights in this world here. And light probes, so they're not running all in real time, which would crash anybody's computer. But yeah, so they've think about lighting was super, super important. The tripod shot, almost every single shot, there's three unique shots that are not completely tripod shots. Or not just static tripod shots. There's 2 dollies, but I thought, okay, that's very realistic to have just I used the VRchat drone, what's it called? The VRC lens drone to just pan, mimicking a very normal dolly shot when we're panning across each of the gems. I believe there's one more dolly that reveals Clara in the gem room. And then the third non-static tripod shot in the whole entire thing is a snap zoom, which is for the big, crazy, like I'm singing these high notes in the song. It's the bridge. It's the moment that StarHeart comes to the realization of what's happened, and we just get this huge, massive from this wide shot down to the little, like the close-up of StarHeart's shocked expression, and so that was intentional, so that when you got something, anything other than a static tripod shot, it would be very eye-catching. And yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any other specific ways that I structured the scene. It's pretty slowly paced editing, in my opinion. There was a lot of story to cram into the 3 minutes, but I just don't tend to like fast edited music videos. If there's story, like they can be flashy, but I want to actually enjoy some of the shots that people put together, and if they're interesting enough, or if there's enough to look at, hopefully people will actually not lose interest between shot to shot if you edit it a little bit slower paced.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you said you had to fit everything in 3 minutes. Was the music video going to be longer at one point, and you chose to make it shorter, or did you go in knowing you wanted it to be 3 minutes?
No, I mean it was a music video. Ultimately, I approached it like a short film, but if I wrote the script to each verse. So verse 1, this is what happens. Chorus, this is what happens. And I was alternating, like it skips time a little bit. We see StarHeart waiting for the train, and you're like, what's StarHeart doing at the train station? And then you see her meeting up with Clara. So it's skipping back and forth from the past to the present. And then we introduce sandcastle written on a piece of paper. What's that all about? Well, StarHeart seems sad, and the lighting's much darker and moodier here. And then StarHeart's really happy getting wine with her girlfriend. Yeah, so I thought that was cool to bounce back and forth from that. I forget now what you asked.
Oh, was the music video you put together going to be longer, and then you chose to make it shorter, or did you choose it to be that specifically?
Nah, yeah, it was really supposed to be that 3-minute block. In the future, I would love to do more narrative stuff where there's dialogue and stuff. Maybe it starts with a song, and then there's dialogue, and there's some story that happens, and then there's like another song, and yeah, like combining basically multiple music videos with narrative. I think that'd be so fun.
Okay. Well, I'm now going to ask you some final questions, which is, if anyone wishes to do anything that you've done or plan on doing, what kind of advice would you give them?
Do it. Just start making music videos. You don't have to worry about renting out locations. You can either build it, you can find locations that people have built here in VR. Cameras, like VRchat's free. The camera is just built in, like you can just use the built-in stream camera here and use OBS, which is also free to record. Just make stuff. Like we need more VR filmmakers. And for people that want to get into VR performance, if you play piano, if you play guitar, if you sing, if you do any sort of music you want to share with people, start just performing through your VRchat mic. You can use a loopback system, even either through software, or if your audio interface has like a loopback function, then you can directly pump your audio through your VRchat mic. And yeah, it's such a cool way to share your art with people. And yeah, I don't know, just make cool stuff. Dive in.
No, there's two questions that Raptor and I have asked every other person, but I'm not sure we asked you when we talked with you. The name StarHeart, where did that come from?
So StarHeart, I think I did tell you. I'm trying to remember. I named a D&D character as StarHeart, and it ended up like just being something I like that. When I was trying to think of a name for my VTuber persona, that name really stuck out. I'm like, that actually encapsulates the vibe of me so well. I love stars. I love this idea of it being like this kind of cute, heartfelt. I don't know. It fit perfectly with the vibe that I wanted, and so that's what it became.
Okay. In the avatar you're in, obviously it's the VTuber avatar you're in. What made you choose that as the model you wish to present?
Yeah, so my VTuber mom, Nebufae, and I worked back and forth for a couple months, like maybe a solid month, where I was just sending sketches back and forth. And once we got that finished StarHeart design, I figured out how to build it, or, still figuring out how to build it in 3D. So I modified a base. This is the noir thing. I have other avatars for different outfits and stuff. But yeah, so that's I just wanted to be that character. I love her. I love StarHeart so much.
Well, StarHeart, thank you very much for coming back and letting us get to know what you've been up to. It's been an absolutely amazing time getting to learn about you and everything you've been up to in the music video. So thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Yay! Oh, so great chatting. So fun revisiting after a year.
Indeed. And a
Thanks for having me on.
No problem. And where can the audience find you if they wish to find you?
You can find me on YouTube at StarHeart VR, or follow me on Twitter, same name, and find me here on. You can attend one of my shows here in Vrchat if you join my group StarHeart Station.
Okay. All of that, and they'll be in the Hoobly What's It for you, the audience. If you go right down the description, everything's right there in that fun place with all the other links and hashtags that everyone most probably enjoys staring at. But a question for you, the audience. When I asked earlier, or offered you to watch StarHeart's music video, did you go watch it? You should watch it now. With that said, thank you all for joining us tonight. Have a good rest of your afternoon. See you in the Metaverse.